I was actually pinned down on the bed by the younger brother I had raised myself, at his mercy. He said to me, "Sister, don't leave me again. Only me should be in your eyes. I love you." After all these years of struggle, I've finally reached this point. I've been imprisoned by Evan Raymond. Right now, we're staring straight at each other. Evan was on high alert, afraid that I might try to escape again. I let out a sigh and said, "Relax, I'm not going anywhere." Evan snorted. His face was devilishly handsome, the teardrop mole at the corner of his eye was drop-dead gorgeous, capable of ensnaring one's very soul. He said, "Cindy Mullen, you can't escape." He started using my full name. He didn't love me anymore. I held back my tears of heartache, resigned myself to lying down, watching the little yellow dog, Bossy, running around in the room. And I couldn't help but recall the days when he still called me sister. Actually, I was a girl with a formidable background. This background wasn't about how powerful my family was, but because on my 18th birthday, I was chosen by some entity known as the system to complete a mission. At the time, I was gnawing on fried chicken and refused without even listening to the whole thing, but the system said that if I completed the task, I would be given a large sum of money. I've always been a shallow woman, so I agreed without hesitation. The system said that my mission was to protect a boy named Evan. This Evan is the illegitimate son of the prominent Raymonds, who grew up with his prostitute mother in the red light district, often subjected to domestic violence, bullying, beatings, and abuse. My mission was to look after him and ensure that he lived happily until he turned 18 and was taken back into the Raymonds. Back then, I was a rather naive girl, filled with righteous indignation after hearing his story, wishing I could fly to his side and protect him immediately. Yet, I never could have imagined the outcome today. My goodness, I didn't know what trick the system used, but when I opened my eyes, I was already in a strange house. The system told me that this was the red light district, that Evan's home was 50 meters ahead, and that it couldn't accompany me. It instructed me to complete the mission well and then left. Naturally, I waved my hand and said, "Oh, beat it." The system suspiciously fell silent for 2 seconds before disappearing. I stood up and took a look around, finding that the home the system had arranged for me wasn't bad. Although it wasn't big, it was decorated very warmly, indeed suitable for a girl living alone. Alright, now that everything was settled, it was time to get down to business. I needed something to eat, so I turned on my phone but found out that there wasn't even delivery service in this lousy place, causing me to shed tears of despair. Oh God. What will happen to my pizza, hot dogs, fried chicken, hamburgers, french fries, submarine sandwich, club sandwich, roast beef sandwich and burrito? No, wait, it's not them, it's me who can't live without them. I couldn't help but throw a princess-like tantrum, because I didn't have dinner. But by 10 o'clock at night, I couldn't resist going downstairs to the convenience store to buy instant noodles. The owner of the convenience store looked at me and asked very solicitously, "How are you, young lady? Have you gotten used to your new place yet?" I blew it off with a chuckle. That night, I went to bed very early, planning to bump into Evan early the next morning. But what I didn't expect was that I accidentally slept until noon. Upon waking up, I almost shed tears, unable to help but marvel at what a sleeping beauty I truly was. Cough, cough, it's time to get down to business. So I tidied up casually and went down to bump into him. I was already familiar with Evan's appearance, and the street wasn't very long, so waiting by the wayside wasn't an issue. So I sat calmly in a decent-looking restaurant, ordering a large piece of pizza, planning to eat while I waited. But this wait lasted a full 2 hours. In the end, the staff were gritting their teeth and urging me to leave. I felt too embarrassed to stay any longer and had to pack up and go. Never did I think that upon leaving, I would encounter Evan scavenging for food in the leftovers bin. Clearly a 7-year-old child, he was skinny and small, wearing clothes that were torn beyond recognition. The way he stuffed food into his mouth while warily looking at me made me feel genuine heartache. I didn't dare to startle him, so I slowly squatted down. Seeing my movement, Evan became increasingly nervous, ready to run at any moment. I hurriedly smiled at him and tried to be friendly. "What a coincidence, you like pizza too." He looked at me with his big, black eyes, clear but filled mostly with fear. I continued to ask, "So, today is my birthday, would you accompany me for a meal?" After hearing my words, he swallowed hard, his eyes showing hesitation. I seized the opportunity to call out to the restaurant, "Excuse me, 2 pieces of pizza, large." When I said this, Evan looked at me strangely. I kept smiling, looking into his eyes. After an unknown amount of time, the waiter said the pizzas were ready. I stepped forward, wanting to take his hand and go inside together, but he stepped back. Reluctantly, I went in first. Sure enough, he soon timidly followed behind me. The people in the shop, upon seeing Evan, all showed looks of intense disgust, as if they had accidentally touched something dirty. I couldn't help but glare at them, and they all turned away, pretending they knew nothing. But this clearly frightened Evan, who suddenly turned and ran out quickly. I hurried after him, but by then I couldn't see him anymore. I stood there dazed for quite some time before returning to the restaurant. The people inside kept their eyes lowered. I glared at them coldly, unable to contain my anger, and cursed. "Mind your own business." The room fell silent. The attendant approached nervously and asked, Are you still going at those 2 pieces of pizza?" I was furious and said, Eat, eat, eat. "Let your mom eat then." The attendant shuddered and then said slowly, My mom is dead." Me? My first attempt failed because of a bunch of idiots. But I didn't lose heart because of this. That night, I summarized my actions. First, stay away from idiots. Second, don't let idiots speak. Third, if an idiot starts talking about Evan, kill him. Before going to sleep, my mind was filled with images of Evan's thin, weak little face. I don't know why, but my heart ached. Looking out at the vast moonlit sky, I made a firm vow. I must ensure that this child grows up healthy and happy.